All right, welcome into Market Day Report. It's Thursday all day today, the 16th. You know, I was born on the 15th, my brother on the 30th, and my father was happy. He used to call us payday babies. I don't know if people get that joke anymore, but yeah. And my sister ruined it, and she was born on the 19th. But anyway, I digress. Why don't we take a look at some of these prices, the overnights, see what's going on there, and we'll get you up to date on how we might open up here this morning. I've got a corn board, I think, pulled up right now. Did they got that yet? No, maybe not. Yeah, they do. All right, here we are. That's soybeans. That's not nice, is it? We changed them around overnight somehow. Corn. Up a penny overnight. July's up to 463.5. That's 2.5 cents off the low and not too far from the high. It's right in the middle of a 5-cent range, basically, or 4-cent range. 463.5, just up a penny in that July. You go out to the new crop D, that's up a penny. 488 evens less. That's a penny and a half off the high and a penny and 3/4 off the low. All right, so some pretty tight ranges there. Not a ton happening. If we move on to see what the beans have got for us. This is also a little bit better board, but I'm going to call it steady a little bit better. They're not really giving you a big celebration, but we've got July up 3/4 cent to 12.14 1/4, 4 1/4 cents off the low of the day, and 2.5 cents off the high. All right, that explains everything. We've got a Novi bean board fighting with $12. 12.01 3/4 is last. That's a 3/4 cent rally overnight. We had seen 11.98.5 at some point. So we're going to keep an eye on that one for you, see if we can keep that 12 handle. If we move over to the wheat in Chicago wheat, the wheat market's had a little bit of a better night. July up 10.5 cents to 6.76 1/4, well off the lows by about 14 cents. And if you go up to the highs, we're off the highs by 5 1/4. So we're about close to the high, 5 cents away from high, but about a 20-cent range. Dees is up 10 cents there. That's Dees Chicago wheat, 7.19.5 is last there, and that's about 5 cents off the high as well. Let's move on to the hard red in Kansas City. What did that do overnight? Well, a little bit, about the same, but a little bit better. Too much coffee, folks. 11 1/4 cents higher on that July contract to 6.86 1/4. That's about 5 1/4 cents off the high of the day, well off the lows by 13 cents. So that'll give you an idea. It's kind of the same issue that we had going on in Chicago. And then moving right along to the spring wheat, what do we got going on there? Spring wheat was up 11 cents overnight to 7.38 even. Penny and a quarter off the high of the day there, too. So well off the lows. And then finally, let's take a look at cotton. And we'll get to our analysts. Cotton up 61 points, 76.02 overnight. All right, let's bring him in. Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions. He's the president. He's the big shot. If it's what, 8:15 in the morning here, it's going to be the Brian Hoops show, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of seems that way, Scott. Good morning. Overnight markets, it seems like the corn's trying to follow the wheat a little bit. And wheat is, I don't know, I'm worried about this wheat market. We're showing a lot of signs of kind of a distribution type top where we see one day down double digits, next day up double digits, and just keep that choppy type affair. There's a lot of selling taking place at these levels and quite a bit of fun buying coming into the market here. So, the news out of Russia should be pretty much dialed in with we're going to have a smaller Russian wheat crop. That doesn't mean we're going to have better U.S. exports. In fact, when the Ukraine and Russia war started a couple years ago, market soared higher, anticipating we get all kinds of export business, and it never materialized. I'm afraid that could be the case again at this time, where we see U.S. soar higher, anticipating we're going to get export business, and it never happens. And we're stuck with this big wheat crop that we're growing in the hard red wheat belt, and no place to go with it because we're the 7th, 8th port of origin for the world wheat needs. And corn seems to be following the wheat market, up or down one way or another. There's a huge rain event coming next week. So it's kind of a really do or die almost week and weekend for corn producers. If you can get out in the fields, everyone's possibly trying to get there and hammer that corn crop in before that big rain event hits across the Corn Belt next week. And so, we could be talking about prevent plant maybe a week from now, but there's still a lot of time to get that corn crop in the ground.
Putin over to CG, do you worry about that at all, or at least does it come into your mind? You think about it?
And think about it, what's happening over there, and it certainly is a possibility. Even if Russia has a smaller wheat crop that they grow, last couple of years ago they were stealing wheat, and taking ships over and taking parts of Ukraine over, and then actually taking the wheat and then selling it in the world market. I think that's probably what they'll do again, even if they have this smaller wheat crop. So the Wheat Quality Council tour is out there finding very good yields. I suspect the final day of the tour today, they'll find poor yields as they move into the western part of Kansas, but still, overall, it's going to be a very big crop. And export sales this morning, just pretty much a non-event.
All right, great stuff. Stay right there. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back in more, with more coffee maybe, right after this. All right, welcome back into Market Day Report. It's not Commodity Rep Kickoff. That's the show I just did. Boy, oh boy. Let's move on and see what we've got going on in livestock from yesterday's closes. I won't get caught up on that one here again today. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on in the live cattle. What did they do yesterday afternoon? Well, you can tell by the change on day is minuscule, right? June was up 7 cents, 3 ticks to 178.25, about a buck off the highs, and I don't know, I'm going to call that, we can say 60, 70 cents off the low. So really, right in the middle of the range, nothing going on. Deese was up to 25 cents to 183.82. We can't make much of it right now. Feeder cattle, what do they do? Well, about the same. We did see a little bit of well, that May board is not there. All right, August up 20 cents to 255.87, and that's in the middle of that range. We tried to have a $2 range there, just shy of it, about $1.80. Moving out to the October, 42 cents up there to 257.67. All right, and then see if there's anything in the lean hogs we can get our teeth into, no pun intended. June lean hogs are down 82 cents to 97.50, 50 cents off the low of the day, but still only about, I don't know, $1.10 off the highs, so it's not too significant. October's up 27 cents. We get some up arrows as we go out the back. 84.57 is last. Let's bring them back in. That's going to be Brian Hoops with Midwest Market Solutions. What do you got for? I mean, there's not a lot there, so if you can come up with something to fill 2 minutes, you're a rock star.
We're going to give it a good shot. There was export sales this morning, and they're pretty routine for beef, 15 million tons, right in line with what we've been doing over the last, not only 4 weeks, but probably 4 months. But the pork sales this morning were 21 million tons. That's a market near low. And, hogs trade a lot of technicals, but if they look at that fundamental, that's not a bullish news factor. And I thought yesterday they probably found a little bit of weakness off of some technicals, and hog weights up a little bit compared to the prior week. We'll have steer weights a little bit later today. There's really no cash cattle trade, no movement. The feedlots are thinking they're getting 187, 188 this week, 190 next week. And so they're very bullish, very optimistic. We're going to see that higher cash trade. And there's been virtually nothing. We're so desperate to find bids. We're looking on the Fed Cattle Exchange where there isn't that many head traded, and there was some 181 bids is all that we're seeing on that auction. So it's pretty quiet as far as cattle in the country. Packers are cutting their kills this week, and that is propping box beef. So that's a positive. It kind of helps their margins. It went from over $100 negative to around $38 to $40 a head negative with that improvement in the box beef.
Isn't that crazy how in this business you're excited because you lose less money?
That could be what it is.
Right? I mean, it's insane. And by the way, we have an election coming up. We've got weather to worry about. We got money flows to worry about, and all that really spells to me, Brian, is Prozac, because it's going to be that type of year, I think. What do you think?
I think so. A lot of volatility. Get some hedges in place. Let yourself sleep at night. That's the
exactly
bottom
right.
line.
Real quick before you go, do you think this rally shook a lot of those on-farm storage bushels free?
On the grains you're talking,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, there's been a ton of soybean sales, maybe a little bit of corn sales. They're still holding the corn if they can, but a lot of soybeans have been sold. A lot of corn been sold as well, but there's still more to hit the market if we see a summer rally.
Okay, great stuff as usual. Really appreciate you coming on. Always like to have you.
Thanks.
Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions. He's the president there. We'll bring it back here and say good morning, Christina.